Imagine being 37, a distinguished neuroscience professor at Harvard University. Your days are filled with groundbreaking research, engaging lectures, and meticulous data analysis. This work proves the human brain can be fully understood through deep study. Now imagine waking with an unfamiliar ache behind your left eye. You assume this discomfort is just fatigue or stress from grading papers, but by afternoon, that ache intensifies into an overwhelming storm within your head. The world blurs, your body ceases to respond, and coherent thoughts slip away. Then everything fades into profound silence, leaving only an unsettling void. That's what happened to Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a Harvard-trained neuroanatomist who in 1996 suffered a massive hemorrhage in the left hemisphere of her brain. The bleed was the size of a golf ball. It stole her ability to walk, talk, read, and remember her own life, and it took 8 years for her to come back. Now think about the irony. A woman who studied the brain, suddenly forced to live inside a brain that was shutting down. She didn't just lose function. She lost identity, ego, time, language. And what she found in that silence changed everything we know about consciousness.
I was still alive. I did not die that day. And when, so many people have said, what motivated you to get better? Or how could you have been so happy? And it was like, I did not die that day. And that meant no matter how disabled I was, I could not walk, talk, read, write, recall any of my life. I became an infant in a woman's body. At the age of 37, I completely fell off the Harvard ladder, and none of that mattered. All that mattered was I was alive, and what that meant was I had the potential to grow and heal and become whatever I would become. And it didn't matter, and it still doesn't matter. What matters is I'm alive. It's the gift of life, and that's, for me, the wonder of what we are as living beings. And we are at a time where we are in a mental health crisis, and our mental health is 100% dependent on the health and well-being of the brain. And the health and well-being of the brain is 100% dependent on the health and the well-being of the brain cells. So how do we nurture those cells and love those cells so that we can live the life we want to live, and we can live in joy, we can live in present, we can live feeling connected to something that is magnificent as a life force power of the universe, and have this magnificent left brain that allows me to have language, allows me to be a part of society in an effective way, and allows me to have pain from my past so I can learn and grow from experiences that have happened.
If you want to hear her full shocking story, I encourage you to watch her interview on the Diary of a CEO podcast. It's one of the most powerful conversations about the human mind you'll ever hear. But today, we're going to do something different. We're going to explore what her discovery means for you.
So I look at the brain. It's divided into 4 categories, very specific anatomically. Each one of those result in a constellation of skill sets. And then that constellation of skill sets actually manifests in our lives as personalities. And we all have all 4. Now, do we all practice all 4? No. Some of us do. So I call left thinking character 1. And I actually give that part of my brain a name. I call her Helen. Hell on wheels, she gets it done. You're talking to Helen right now. She's giving you facts and details. She is all about what is right and wrong and good and bad. How do I fit myself into a society? How do I use my words in order to communicate? So this is the part of us that goes to work. It's our A-type personality. Character 1, left thinking. So character 2 is going to be the left emotion. Now, the difference between the things you can say predictably about the left hemisphere is it has linearity across time, and it has me, the individual. And my emotional system then has my past pain, and it wants, and it's kind of always looking for a reason to knee-jerk react and have emotional reactivity. So many people are trying to fix or heal or get rid of their emotional reactivity when this is a portion of our brain which is running constantly in the background to protect us in the present moment when new information comes in. So we want to work with that, and we want to appreciate it, and we want to love on it, and we want to be kind to it, because it's generally not very happy because it is storing all of our pain from the past. 2 is our pain from the past. And in our society, everything's about our pain from the past. and our professional self. Character 3 is going to be the emotional content of the right hemisphere. Well, this is right here, right now. What am I experiencing emotionally? Experiential. This is where, what's the temperature of the air? What does it feel like to have clothing on? What does that feel like on your body? So this is playful. So character 3, it's young. We have 2 little people inside of ourselves, and that's the emotional. They're immature. We are feeling creatures. As biological creatures, we are feeling creatures who think. So a lot of character 3s, actually, we have character 3 moments that land us in jail because it's not thinking about consequences of behavior. It's just thinking, oh yeah, the neighbor's pool. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They won't notice. Let's go jump in their pool. And then the next thing we know, we've been arrested. So then character 4 is the thinking portion of our brain. This is our wisdom. We go and we have experiences and we learn. Because neuroplasticity is real, and we have to have neuroplasticity. And this is all about the cells, neurons in real time, reaching out, making new connections constantly. But their cell bodies are in position. But in order for me to make an association between you and something else, then I actually grow to you, and I grow to the something else, and then I learn about that. So our capacity to learn is what is the underlying feature is neuroplasticity. I would not be sitting here talking to you today if neuroplasticity didn't turn on fire when I needed it for 8 years. And it took 8 years for me to use what I had in this brain to rebuild the skill sets of this brain.
Dr. Taylor didn't just survive a stroke. She came back with a map of the mind. And to help us travel that map, we'll listen to 2 familiar voices that live inside all of us.
You have 2 emotional systems, one in your left hemisphere and one in your right hemisphere. And the right hemisphere is going to be right here, right now. Am I safe in the right here, right now? So let's say all of a sudden a snake went by and we would jump, we would startle because it's your right amygdala saying, oh my gosh, am I safe? And then the left hemisphere is going, oh my gosh, it's a snake. No, I'm not safe. Push it away. And when we're calm, that's when the hippocampi, because we have 2 amygdala, 1 in each hemisphere, 2 hippocampi, 1 in each hemisphere. And when the amygdala are calm and you feel safe, now you can learn and focus with the cingulate gyrus and learn new things.
The part that feels and the part that calculates, the part that dreams and the part that decides. Meet Bliss and ICE, 2 halves of one INFJ mind. The empathy that reads beneath the surface, and the analysis that demands proof.
Hi there, I'm Bliss. I feel patterns the way musicians hear key changes, small tells, tone shifts, what isn't said. If you're hurting, I know before you know.
Hello, I'm ICE. Feelings are motion sensors, useful but prone to false alarms. I handle calibration, context, timelines, evidence, insight, calibration.
Bliss is INFJ-NI-FE in motion, intuitive patterning guided by empathy. ICE is the TC Counterbalance, clean lines, verification, discernment. One protects connection, the other protects reality. Together, they'll explore what Dr. Jill revealed, that peace doesn't come from silencing one side of your brain, it comes from letting them finally speak to each other. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Over the next few minutes, we're bringing the science to life, literally.
You exist in your left hemisphere.
That's where the world revolves around you.
The world revolves around you. In the right hemisphere, you don't even exist. You exist as a part of it all. So what you hear gets integrated with what you smell, with what you feel, gets integrated in the excitement of possibility. So I'm not working from a plan. I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I'm not all about me. I'm just here. And when I live my life knowing that I can shift out of the stress circuitry of that left brain that says more cortisol, do, then when that's the push, the right brain is the pause.
2 hemispheres, 2 actors, 2 voices inside one human mind. Across 4 chapters, we'll watch these 2 halves of the brain take the lead, sometimes gracefully, sometimes not. On your left, meet ICE, the logical left brain. ICE represents character 1, the planner, and character 2, the protector, precise, Disciplined and sometimes a little too sure of herself. On your right, meet Bliss, the creative right brain. Bliss represents character 3, the player, and character 4. The sage, the wisdom, intuitive, emotional, endlessly connected to everything around her. Each scene will show what happens when one side dominates and how balance can be restored when both sides learn to listen.
So real life examples, real emotions, real neurons firing.
And I assume real logic keeping it all from turning into chaos.
Exactly. Welcome to the whole brain experiment. Let's start where most of us spend far too much time, inside the planner. Left-thinking hemisphere character 1 lives here, inside the structured corridors of the left-thinking brain. It's the planner, analytical, time-driven, endlessly measuring life by what gets done. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor calls it the manager of the mind, the voice that keeps the trains running and the chaos contained.
Control is not a flaw, it's efficiency with manners.
Manners? You've alphabetized your vitamins.
Health requires order. Disorder invites decay.
And yet your heartbeat still insists on improvising. Ha 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 ha.
When the planner leads, the world makes sense, but sometimes only on paper. Its favorite words are schedule, result, achievement. It's the part of your brain that checks the clock even while watching a sunset.
Someone has to know when the sun sets.
Someone else has to notice it.
The planner is born in the left hemisphere's networks for language and sequencing. It thrives on definition, naming, labeling, owning. It builds the ego center that says, I am.
Boundaries maintain civilization.
Sometimes they also build prisons.
When the planner dominates too long, it mistakes protection for purpose. It becomes what Dr. Jill calls selfish.
But as long as this is the only portion of our brain that we value, then we live based on the values of that portion of the brain. And what that brain values is me and mine. And I want more. And that's the world we're living in.
It's selfish.
Well, it certainly is.
Not cruel, just overinvested in survival. It hoards time, control, and certainty until there's no room for wonder.
Wonder is inefficient.
But it's why you started planning in the first place, so you could feel safe enough to wonder again.
Notice what's happening here. The planner isn't evil, it's just tired. Its job is to build systems, not identities. And when it forgets that, we become the schedule instead of the soul.
I just wanted things to stay predictable.
Predictable isn't peace, it's pause without breath.
Dr. Taylor learned that when her left hemisphere went silent, time stopped, but so did fear. Without the planner, she felt infinite. Without the planner, she also couldn't speak.
Maybe peace is what's left when planning finally sleeps.
And maybe chaos is what wakes up right after.
Balance, not dominance, that's the lesson of character 1. Structure without empathy turns to rigidity. Empathy without structure dissolves into noise.
Language is very complex in this because different cells do different things. And in this left thinking portion, we can read, we can write. Those are completely different circuitries. We can speak, we can comprehend when others speak. I mean, it's complex. So this is a busy, busy, busy place.
So should we take a break from the checklist?
Only if we schedule it.
Deal.
We're not a robot. We're not a computer. We are a biological organism. And so we don't plug ourselves in and turn it on and it stays on and forever until it dies and then we buy a new one. We have rhythms. We have natural patterns and we have to push and we have to pause. And we have to pause because we are 50 trillion molecular geniuses that are eating and creating waste and we need to clean up the mess. And that's what happens during sleep.
Next, we meet character 2, the protector, the left emotional brain that stores every wound you've ever survived. When the planner meets the protector, order collides with pain. Every system built to plan is also built to protect. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor calls this character 2, the protector. It lives inside the left emotional brain, the part that remembers pain, tracks danger, and keeps score so we don't get hurt again.
This is my department. Pattern recognition meets risk mitigation. I keep us alive.
Alive isn't always the same as living.
Tell that to the people who ignored their instincts and got burned.
You mean the ones who tried again and healed?
The protector evolved to catalog every injury. It builds walls from words, never again, not safe, remember what happened last time. Inside the brain, that means the amygdala fires, cortisol rises, and logic bows to survival.
So when I replay an old conversation and feel the same sting, it's not imagination, it's chemistry.
Precisely. You press play on pain and the body re-experiences it. It's data retention.
Or emotional self-sabotage.
Defense mechanism.
Prison mechanism.
For the INFJ mind, this is familiar ground. The over-analysis of what went wrong, the autopsy of emotion. The protector believes it's preventing heartbreak. In truth, it sometimes keeps the wound open to monitor it.
If I stop checking the scar, how do I know it's healed?
By noticing it stopped hurting.
Dr. Taylor learned that emotions are chemical waves lasting about 90 seconds. After that, we choose whether to reignite them.
90 seconds. From the moment you think a thought, we're only doing 3 things inside of our brain at any moment in time. And everybody's saying, oh, I can stay mad for a whole lot longer than 90 seconds. But what you're doing then is you're rethinking the thoughts. That's re-stimulating the emotional loop, re-stimulating the physiological response. And it just goes on forever.
So peace isn't denial, it's restraint.
Restraint with awareness.
The left emotional brain keeps us alert. But when it dominates, the world becomes a battlefield mapped in memories. The cure isn't to erase the protector, it's to remind it that safety and joy can coexist.
I enjoy it.
You enjoy the emotion.
I enjoy it.
Even if you're angry.
Even if I'm angry. Thank God I'm capable. I am wired to be mad. I am wired to be angry. I'm wired to push things away and say, that is not okay. I get big, I get ugly, I make myself heard because that's a healthy boundary I'm going to establish. So I celebrate the fact that I'm capable of anger. I love that I can be sad. I'm glad that I can grieve.
Maybe the heart can hold both fear and freedom.
Then perhaps the real protection is presence.
Because I have a tiny little group of cells inside of my left hemisphere that tells me who I am. Have you ever awakened in a hotel somewhere because you've traveled so much and you're going, where am I?
Yeah.
There's this blank, right? And it's like, I don't know, but the bed's comfy, what a nice room. And all of a sudden you're just right here, right now, and you're not about the past and you're not about the future and you're just in the present moment. And joy lives in the present moment. Love lives in the present moment. Laughter lives in the present moment. The present moment is a fantastic place, and we are wired to that by literally half our brain.
Next, we cross into the right brain, the land of character 3, the player. Where logic lets go, creativity takes the wheel, and ICE will have to learn how to play. After surviving the storm of protection, the brain longs for air. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor calls this character 3, the player, the right emotional hemisphere. This side is curious, connected, alive in color. It speaks through laughter, rhythm, and movement, our inner child, scientist, and artist combined.
Welcome to the lab of joy. No rules, just neurons dancing.
I see no hypothesis, no measurable outcome.
The outcome is aliveness. You should try it sometime.
Unmeasured variables produce anxiety.
Exactly why you need a dance break.
When character 3 activates, dopamine floods the brain's reward circuits. Creativity spikes, stress hormones fall, and the body remembers what safety feels like without needing proof.
When you dive in the water and you feel the water, the pressure against your body, the temperature of the water, you feel the phenomenon of wetness. This is a present moment experiential opportunity. Diving into the water. Now, a lot of people might dive in the water because I'm racing and the whole goal is to get to the end because I got that left brain thing going on and that's the goal. But if I'm just being, this is, are you being or are you doing, right? When we're being, we're simply being here. We're being alive. We're being aware. We're being in experience.
So play is neurochemical maintenance? Now you're talking my language, joy with citations.
The right emotional brain is also the community brain. It dissolves the hard edge of me and replaces it with we. That's why music, teamwork, or even shared silence can synchronize our heartbeats.
When I play, I remember I'm part of something bigger.
And when you forget structure, you trust connection to hold you.
Exactly. Connection is structure, just a softer one.
For the INFJ, character 3 restores empathy fatigue. It's where intuition breathes again after being smothered by analysis.
But constant play risks chaos.
Controlled chaos, it's how galaxies form.
Dr. Taylor reminds us that joy isn't frivolous, it's functional. Play strengthens the neural bridge between left and right, turning creativity into resilience.
So, play is engineering disguised as laughter.
Exactly. The smartest blueprint we'll ever draw.
From the right emotional player, we now move to the right thinking sage, the seat of wisdom, compassion, and calm integration. It's here that the brain stops performing and starts perceiving. Bliss will lead us into the stillness that transforms play into peace.
So when you're on a table, massage table, and you're allowing yourself to go fuzzy, that's essentially the skill set of what's going on in the right hemisphere.
After the laughter comes the lesson. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor calls this character 4, the sage. It's the right-thinking hemisphere, the home of wisdom, compassion, and consciousness itself. This is the part of your brain that knows you are not just in the world, you are the world observing itself.
Finally, my territory, infinite Wi-Fi, no password.
Signal strong, data unclear.
Exactly. That's how enlightenment works.
The sage doesn't chase control or emotion. It witnesses them like clouds drifting across awareness. In the brain, this is the prefrontal and parietal right network, the seat of empathy and perspective.
On the right side, it's right here, right now. And in the right here, right now, what do I care about? I care about connection because I'm not individualized. Here, I'm a part of the whole. We are all standing around this beautiful planet, and I, man, is equal to all the other creatures and all the other life and to the life of the planet. We are one construct here, and we either figure out how to nurture and support and be one thing. We are one human family. In our right hemisphere, you are my brother. I love you. I can support you. I can nurture you. I can encourage you because you're a part of me. And then the left hemisphere comes online and says, oh, Jill, that is so inappropriate for you to say. And he has his body space and I have my body space, and we need to be formal, and we need to right and wrong and good and bad, and we need to establish how the construct of the social norm is that we are now going to take the mass of all that we are and fit ourselves in that so that we can communicate with one another and run a world.
So instead of spreadsheets or songs, this one writes silence.
Silence with subtitles.
What do they say?
You're safe. You're connected. You're enough.
When both hemispheres align, the default mode network, the ego loop, quiets. That's why meditation, gratitude, or even awe can feel like time disappearing. The brain synchronizes, the self expands.
So the smartest thing I can do is stop proving I'm smart?
So here's the key. Step number 1, observe yourself. When am I being a character 1? When am I at work? When am I speaking and organizing and making a to-do list? And when do I like to be the boss? And when do I like to control people, places, things, and time? And all of that. When am I doing that? When are you playful? What does it feel like? It feels completely different than when you're at work or when you're not happy. When are you at play? And if you're not at play much, then you might want to give yourself a little bit more play. So this is the glee, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's like, figure out what brings you joy and do that. The beauty of being a human is you have all 4 parts of this brain. This is our design, but we are functioning with only one online as conscious.
I'm smart?
Now you're catching on.
I've spent years analyzing everything that could go wrong.
And I've spent years feeling everything that already did.
Then maybe wisdom is both of us finally shutting up for a second.
Careful, you're starting to sound enlightened.
Dr. Taylor says neuroplasticity means we can choose which character leads. Every breath is a new vote for peace or panic, play or planning, fear or freedom.
So the brain isn't a prison, it's a playlist. You just have to pick the song.
Then I'll take one in 4/4 time. Balanced, rhythmic, reliable.
I'll add harmony. Something that makes people feel
Together?
always.
When Bliss and ICE speak as one, the whole brain sings. Structure meets soul, logic meets love. And for a moment, maybe just 90 seconds, we remember what wholeness feels like.
Awe. I feel such awe for life. Life. This is life. There is life and there is death, and we have life. And life is the miracle construction of the universe. argue about it all you want, have a million conversations about it, analyze it to death, but the fact of the matter is you are alive in this moment. You are alive. You can say you have eyes that can see and ears that can hear, and you have a digestive tract that can bring in nutrition, and you have manual dexterity, and you have mobility. You have legs that can run around the planet, and you have this magnificent mind so that you can do what you want to do. You are a miracle, and we have forgotten that. And for me, it took me, this whole stroke experience took me straight back to the part of my brain, that right thinking part that connects me in that transformation or that transcendence experience of being so much more than just a little human being running around the planet. Oh my gosh.
If this journey rewired a thought or two, subscribe.
If it rewired your heart, share it.
Tell us which side led you here, #TeamBliss or #TeamICE.
And if you want to keep exploring how awareness turns chaos into calm,
Read inside the mind of the INFJ and the 2AM code, because wisdom isn't the end of knowledge. It's what happens when knowledge finally learns to rest. Now that we've explored the 4 characters of the brain, you might be wondering, how do I keep them in harmony? How do I quiet the planner without losing focus, soothe the protector without numbing out, invite the player without burning out, and listen to the sage without drifting away? Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor reminds us that integration isn't just an idea, it's a practice. A whole brain life begins with the simplest acts of care: sleeping deeply, eating mindfully, moving daily, and staying hydrated. Because the chemistry of peace starts long before the moment you need it. It's built in the quiet, ordinary choices that tell your brain, I'm safe now. So before we close, let's listen to Dr. Jill herself share the everyday tools that help you retrain your brain and keep your 4 characters balanced. Simple, grounded, human. The brain doesn't need perfection, it just needs partnership, and every small act of awareness is another step toward wholeness.
I don't want to be mad. I don't want to do this. I want to be a robot. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be a whole human with a whole brain. I want all of it. It's delicious. Oh my gosh. And it lasts this long and then it's gone.